Hello and welcome back to the Florida Aviation Network's live and in the clear broadcast from FUN Aerospace Expo. This is the 50th anniversary of FUN in Lakeland, Florida, and we're broadcasting today from our temporary studio in the Central Florida Aerospace Academy at Lakeland in the FUN campus. So throughout the week you will find that Florida Aviation Network brings you many interesting interviews, and this certainly is going to be one of them as well. We have two special guests with us for this next interview, all the way from England, who are here as part of the Royal Air Force Cadet Program, and they are here working as volunteers, as so many of us are doing at FUN this week. But their unique role is both to learn and to experience an international event and to volunteer their services. To my immediate left is Maddie, who is a flight sergeant, and beyond her is Cadet Warrant Officer Amelie, yes. Right? Did I get the names correct?
Yeah.
Good, good. And so, Maddie, this is your second time to come to FUN, right? And Amelie, this is your first time.
Yeah.
So this is great. So, tell me first of all where you live and where you at in your education in school.
So we're both from the southeast of England. I'm from Kent, and
I'm from London.
From London and
yes.
from Kent, okay?
Yes, I'm in a little town called Tunbridge Wells,
okay.
in the southeast. And I'm currently in sixth form doing my A-levels. And I'm taking business, geography and psychology.
Business, geography and psychology.
Yeah, the step before university.
Okay, good. And when will you go to the university?
I'm hoping to do forensic psychology.
And when will you start?
September, hopefully.
Oh, in the fall?
Yeah.
So into forensics.
Yeah.
So meaning forensics like in law enforcement or some other?
Like criminals, I think would be really interesting.
Criminal forensics,
yeah.
Okay, well that's good. That's certainly there's a need for that, I'm sure. And Amelie, how about you? Where are you at in your education?
So I finished education actually. I finished 2 years ago now. So I'm now working at a waitressing agency in London.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Have you lived in London most of your life?
My whole life.
Your whole life.
Yes.
Okay, so you're used to the big city. And how big a city is Kent?
It's relatively big, but not as big as London.
Not as big as London.
Nowhere near
No,
as big as London.
Right. Okay. And so you're both in the Royal Air Force Cadet Program. How long have you been in the program, Maddie?
I've been in for 3 years now.
3? And Amelie, how about you?
In June it will be 7 years.
7 years?
Yes.
Wow. So you're at a rank, I think you said Cadet Warrant Officer.
Yeah,
so that's
Cadet Warrant
in a
Officer.
leadership role after having been there a number of years. So good, good. So you come to, let's see, are you the only two Royal Air Force cadets here, or are there a whole bunch of them?
No.
There's 60 of us this year.
60?
Yes.
60 of you?
I think it's the largest amount we've had so far.
Wow, wow. So in the past, I've interviewed John Wogelmuth, who is the leader, the leader that shepherds you all over here and brings you back home safely and the like, and gets you assigned to various things. And so he was telling me about his role in keeping you all focused and the like, but he's got some really great cadets that accompany him and that work. So what kind of things do you do here, Amelie, when you're, this is your first time here, so
This is
you're
my first time
kind of
here.
understanding what's your role as a Royal Air Force cadet during the FUN program?
So we volunteer and just help out at the different areas at the show. So yesterday we helped on the ramp of the Warbirds. So we helped with security almost, just making sure everywhere was clear for the aircraft to move along safely. We've also been helping at registration, so selling some tickets to some lovely customers. What else? We've also been down at JC, been helping parking some of the aircraft as well.
At JC, where is that?
General Aircraft
GC,
Camping.
okay,
JC.
General Aircraft Parking,
Yeah.
okay. GAC, okay, very good. So all 60 of you, or just are you split up and some of you go one place
so
another?
we're split up into 6 groups of 10, and every day we'll at different times in the day we'll switch around at different areas of the air show. We'll all take part in everything.
Wow, so you get a pretty good broad spectrum of what's happening here. And so you worked in those areas yesterday, the opening day of the show?
Yeah.
Okay. And Maddie, how about you? Where did you work yesterday?
But we're in the same group.
Oh, you're in the same group.
We're doing
Okay,
the same.
so same thing. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. And so, where do you stay when you're here? Are you in a hotel?
We stay at the campsite.
At the campsite, so
volunteers
you're
campsite,
camping.
yeah.
Okay. Did they tell you about that before you actually
Yes.
came? Okay. 'Cause otherwise, that would be a surprise, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So, are you in tents or in camping
Yeah, so
vehicles,
there's one female tent and there's 2 male tents, and big white tents on concrete platforms that we stay in. So, yes.
So what is the
Not
mix
bad.
of the cadets that are here, male and female? How many of the 60 are male? How many are female?
I'd say
I
it's
think about 2/3
Yes.
a male and 1/3 of us are
20-40,
female.
yeah.
All right. So females are taking a commanding role here, huh?
Yeah.
That's good. That's great. And so what happens back home in England with the Royal Air Force cadets? I mean, this is a one big trip in April, but what do you do throughout the year?
So there's various different things. So we have our evenings where we meet up. I have Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know.
I have Mondays and Thursdays.
With our
Mondays and Thursdays for you, Amelie, and what do you
Yeah.
do with that?
So that's the nights we parade on. So every Monday and Thursday for myself, between 7 and 9:30, we parade at our squadrons. So that's when we have our cadets. That's when we turn up.
And when you say parade, that
So-
has a connotation for me, but I bet it's different for you.
It's just, it's where we go to do all of our lessons. It's where we sort of, how do I explain it? It's where we do our lessons and all of our activities. That's
Okay.
where it happens twice a week.
And this is what, military training, basically, or?
Not necessarily. So
necessarily.
Obviously, the Air Cadets is an organisation. It's like a youth organisation, almost a hobby to some.
Uh-huh.
And then if people are actually interested in joining the Royal Air Force, then it's obviously a big step for them. It prepares them a lot to then progress forwards.
So it's a person building thing, leadership building. Is that
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
see it as too, Maddie?
Definitely. We do a lot of things like leadership training, first aid training, radio communications, band. Some in the band as well. And
Oh, really?
Yes, it's such a big variety of things you can do, from adventure training, so your mountain biking, mountain walking, rock climbing, to your band stuff, your marching. And I've just been awarded a gliding scholarship, so I'll be doing that in the summer for a few weeks. So there's such a broad variety of things you can do.
Okay, that's a great segue here, because I was going to ask you if you had any interest in aviation beyond
Oh, I
just
love
being.
it.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to join the Royal Air Force, but I applied and got rejected for asthma.
That's too bad.
But that was my main role, but then, well, my main pathway, but my backup is psychology. But I love aviation. And
That's good. So I think I heard you say you were awarded a scholarship for glider training.
Yeah.
And where will you do that? In Kent or somewhere nearby?
It's an airfield called Kenley, RAF Kenley, which is, I think it's in Kent? I think it's in Kent, yeah. It's about 40 minutes from my house, so
Okay. And so have you started the training yet?
not yet. I'll start in the summer.
In the summer.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And so what will be involved with that? Will you get all the way to a pilot's license with a glider rating?
Not a pilot's license, but by the end of the scholarship I should be hopefully up solo if the weather permits.
Yeah. Yeah, that will be a real thrill, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so if the weather permits, so England has the reputation for not having the best of weather for flying and the like. Is that what you see as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
so what kind of weather would you be willing to go fly in, or is it going to be totally dependent on your instructor?
Probably dependent on the instructor. I don't think I'll have much of a say in that.
Yeah.
But I think it's very different with gliders because you feel turbulence a lot more.
Uh-huh.
So
Exactly. Plus, you
yeah.
need lift, and
Yeah.
if there are thunderstorms, you might get. Well, I don't know. Do you have thunderstorms as often as
No.
we do in the U.S.? No. So you need something rising air currents to
Yeah.
maintain altitude in a glider. But that would be fun. So, how many hours do you think you'll be able to get in the glider?
It varies depending on the weather.
Mhm.
A lot of
Is
people.
it over a fixed period of time?
I think they start with a week, and if you don't manage to go solo, they bring you back for weekends to keep on going
Oh,
until
that'll
you
be
go
exciting.
solo. So
yeah, very good. That'll be a thrill.
Yeah, I'm very
That'll be a thrill.
excited.
So when I did my first solo in an airplane, not a glider, but in an airplane, it was just like, oh man, what an intense feeling. It was
Yeah.
really great. And I wish you well in that as well.
Thank you.
And how about you, Amelie? Are you have any interest in aviation? You're on the cadets
Not as
program?
much as Maddie here. I'm
Yeah.
more interested
And
in
Maddie's
the.
just really fixated on it.
I'm more interested in the adventure training side of Air Cadets. So I like being able to go out trekking or mountain biking, paddle sports, getting out into the field as well. I think those are. I like actually getting into, I don't know, some more adventurous stuff, which I.
So Royal Air Force cadets then isn't just all about flying,
No.
as the name would connote, huh? it's a much broader
Yeah.
thing than what we would consider U.S. Air Force cadets. I would think if we were to call if we had something like that. So it's a broader experience for you, and a whole lot of different things you can go into and enjoy and the like. So
Yeah.
how long will you stay in the cadet program, Amelie?
So I actually age out in August. So
Really?
yeah, so cadets is 12 to 20, so your last parade night would be before you become 20. So I'm aging out in end of August. So this would be my last few months
Oh,
of
wow.
being in the organization.
So was this like the crowning touch to come to
Yeah,
the Sun and Fun?
definitely.
Yeah. And is it easy to just sign up and come to the U.S. for Sun and Fun, or do you have to compete for it? Or
So you have to fill out an application form about saying why you should be chosen to come here, and you also have to get a recommendation from someone. And then I guess if the people of the camp like what they see, then they'll accept you on.
I see. So it's not just John Wogelmuth deciding who it is. It's a group of people that look at your application
I assume so, yeah.
and determine whatever it is you wrote was sufficient to merit you getting a trip there. So is there expenses that you have to pay, or do you have to raise some of the funds for your trip, or is it all paid for by the Royal Air Force?
We have to raise the funds ourselves,
do?
but it is brought down massively because it is slightly funded. So we don't have to pay the total full amount, but it is still a bit of money to spend.
Yeah, yeah. So Maddie, you said this is your second time here.
Yeah.
Was it any easier to fill out the application, get approved for the second time than it was the first time, or is it tough both times?
It was definitely tough both times because it was so competitive this year because more people wanted to come.
Yeah.
But I think with the application you have to write sort of a personal statement as to why you should be chosen. And because they knew who I was already from last year, I could bring in experience from what I did last year into this year's application, which I think really helped, definitely.
Yeah, good. So if you can remember when you filled out that application several months ago probably, what were some of the things you said why you thought you should be able to come?
I was talking about the leadership roles within flights and how it kind of built confidence throughout the week, and I mainly brought in the experience of the enjoyment that I had. I loved it. It was one of the best things I think I've ever experienced, and I
Really?
had to come back.
Yeah, yeah. So Amelie, so 60 of you came over from England. How many people or young people are in the Royal Air Force Cadets countrywide?
Oh, country-wise, that's a difficult question. I know
do you have an
within
idea?
London there's over 1,200 of us. So obviously if you count up how many different areas there are in the UK, there's loads.
Yeah. So
Thousands.
many thousands.
Yeah.
Okay, and of those many thousands, I don't know how many of them applied, but only 60 of you got, well actually 60 of you got to come. That's quite a few compared to previous years, but that is tough competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, congratulations to both of you for being selected. This
Thank
is
you.
wonderful, and I imagine it's going to be fulfilling for both of you, just like it was last year you were here or
Yeah.
before?
Last
so 2
year.
years in a row.
Yeah.
And how much more time do you have in the Royal Air Force Cadets before you age out, as Miss Amelie says?
Well, I'm 17, so I've still got a few years.
Okay, good for you. Good for you. And so, what do you think will happen? So today you're obviously here for the interview, but what happens when you go back to your cadets this afternoon? What will you be doing?
We're on registration this afternoon, so we'll be selling tickets.
So at the ticket booth at the
Yeah.
registration. Oh, okay. So you'll be there shelling out tickets and taking
Yeah.
money and the like. Well, that's good. Yeah, that gives you some experience with the business side of this, because it is a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Everything to do with Sun and Fun raises money for the Aerospace Center for Excellence, which is a great philanthropic organization. Well, that's good. So, and I imagine you'll get to meet some smiling faces, because
Yeah.
everybody that comes to an air show has always got a smile on their face, don't they? Because they don't have to be here; they want to be
Yeah.
here. And so that's really a positive thing. So good. And then so ticket selling today. What do you think will happen tomorrow, Amelie?
I'm not sure what happens tomorrow. I
Oh, you
think
don't have the schedule yet?
No, we get told the night before, so
Okay.
hopefully something good.
All right. So Maddie, where do you eat when you're here?
So during the air show week, we usually cook at our own campsite, or yesterday we went to the Civil Air Patrol building and had a barbecue and had some pizza as well,
Oh,
which
wow.
was good. But in the second week, we usually go out to the Golden Corral.
Okay.
Because we
so
travel.
one night out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And so when did you arrive, Amelie?
We arrived Saturday evening, afternoon. It was a very long journey, very long.
And you flew in commercial or in
Yeah,
Air Force?
commercial.
Okay.
It was about a 9-hour flight.
Yeah, I remember. I've done that a few times across the
Yeah.
Atlantic, so that's good. Did you leave out of Heathrow or Gatwick? Or
Gatwick.
Out of Gatwick,
Yeah.
okay, good. And just a regular commercial flight?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And did you fly into Orlando or?
We
did you stop-
we flew into Tampa.
Tampa,
Yeah.
okay, and then bust
And then-
over from
yeah.
Tampa. Well, that's good. That's good. Was your first time crossing the Atlantic, or have you been to the U.S. before?
I came in 2015 with my family, so a long time ago now.
Okay.
But this is my first time since.
Okay, good. Is there any difference this time?
Well, I'm at an air show. Last time I wasn't. But no, it's everything I remember. The weather especially, very
Yeah.
hot.
Very hot. in
Very hot,
April.
yeah.
Wait till May, June, and July. It gets even warmer and more humid. But anyway, that's the way it is here. And so, if, other than the 2 trips here for Sun and Fun, Maddie, have you been to the U.S. before?
Yeah, I've been to Orlando before with my family.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
to
once
do the
again.
Disney experience.
I didn't go to Disney, but I went to Universal.
Universal,
Yeah.
okay. That's
But it
another
was
big-
boiling. It was in August,
Yeah.
and that was.
Yeah.
And then I've been to New York before as well,
Have you?
which
So
was
that's
also
good.
quite hot.
That's good.
but not
So
as hot.
do you vacation sometimes in the European mainland? Or you just mostly hang
Sometimes.
around Kent and London?
I haven't
No.
for the past few years because of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
But I've never really been to Europe, but I've been to Africa a few times.
Oh, have you? Well, that's good. So
Yeah.
you get around. That's good. And how about you, Amelie?
I go to Cyprus a lot. I have some family out there.
Wonderful.
Been to France, Canary Islands. Yes, I've been to a few places.
How nice. How nice. So what is it you told me you're going to do after you age out of the Royal Air
So
Force
once
Cadets?
once I age out, I'm planning on coming back as staff. So I don't think I want to leave the organisation completely. It's a big part of my life.
What a commitment.
Yeah, I don't
Good,
think I
congrats.
could see myself not within the organisation because it's been a part of my life for so
Now,
long.
would that be a full-time position? Or-
Not necessarily. I think I'm just going to do a bit of volunteering here and there, and then potentially go maybe further in the future.
Okay, good. And how about you, Maddie? What are your long-term career goals?
Well, I'm not 100% sure at the moment, depending on how university goes, if I end up going to university, but I'd quite like to stay in cadets as well.
Oh, really?
But in university, there's a section called the University Air Squadron, which is basically air cadets, but in university. So I'd quite like to join that group.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. And then something to do with forensics after you get through school,
Yeah,
probably.
hopefully.
Well, that's good. Well, it sounds like you got some great futures ahead of you, and I'm so delighted that you were able to come here and be part of the Royal Air Force Cadets. Tell me also about, so you mentioned about going out to eat at the Golden Corral and then with the Civil Air Patrol for barbecue last night and pizza, which is always good. How about other nighttime activities that you participate in since you've been here or that you're going to this week? Do you have parties or sing-alongs? Or?
We went to the concert last night.
Oh, did you?
Yes, yeah, that was really good. That was really fun.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good music, I trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw the promo video that Sun and Fun, Gene Conrad and some of the folks doing Sun and Fun TV this morning, and they talked about the concert last night and showed a little bit of the video of that. It sounded like it was a big crowd there last
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
It's always fun an opening night. That's good. And then also, I think it was yesterday that they had Wogelmuth on, interviewed him briefly, and so I recognized him right away. So he's been doing this for several years, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like expert at this. And so is he like your den mother or the big leader or what?
Big leader.
Yeah, yeah. So 60 kids, and you said 2/3 of them are male and 1/3 female, and the
Yeah.
like. And so, wow, what a great group you're a part of. And obviously, it's not easy to get there. It's something you had to compete for, and that's good. Amelie, I forgot to ask, what did you put in your application as to why you should be one of the cadets that comes?
Oh, I'm not sure.
You don't remember anymore, huh?
No, I think I
Okay.
just talked about how within my squadron back home, I play a lot of roles in leading the cadets. So obviously over here, I'd have to lead and show that I'm able to, take control of a group.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm sure you're doing that just fine, both of you.
Yeah.
So two young ladies who are leaders in the Royal Air Force Cadets that are here visiting and volunteering at Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo. Maddie's been here the second time this year, and Amelie for the first time. They're both dedicated young women and ones that will be successful in their future, I'm sure. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. I appreciate your time today. I'm Ron Timmermans with the Florida Aviation Network. It's been a pleasure to have you with us today. Stay tuned. There's more interviews to come.